Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game to the Max and part 5 of our Hearts of Iron for the Old World Blues Enclave Redux mod. So, in the last episode, we had defeated TV Town, the Sons of Kaga, and we had finally knocked out the Sky Reavers to retake Area 51. We do have a slight bit of predicament right now where we don't have enough political power to pay off the NCR for our operational security. So we have paid the Brotherhood to attack them in 30 days. But the biggest thing for us right now is even if we don't have enough political power, there are other options that we can choose. So I'm not going to focus heavily right now on fighting the NCR. I'm going to focus incredibly heavily on fighting our way over here, trying to get to Far Sun. So maybe knocking out New Canaan and the White Legs, the 80s and the White Legs.
Enclave here.
Let's see. Let's put
This is Enclave main com.
power armor up here.
This is Enclave main com.
Put my remnants here.
Enclave here.
Put my regular soldiers here. We got 15 more units being built up. Well, 16 more units being built up. 15. I was trying to train some light robots, but I can't. So yeah, we'll get these guys, and then I'm going to get a war goal against the 80s. If I knock out the 80s, they cannot join up with Exiles-Legion. As you guys remember, Exiles-Legion is incredibly strong right now. Way stronger than us, way stronger than the NCR. And then, of course, we also had to fight Ejército Mexicano under Santa Anna because we did kill his dad, and he hates us. So we really, really need to try to take as much territory as we can right now and begin to unify some of these territories.
Enclave here.
I'm going to switch this troop over to some auxiliaries. Makes them a little bit better than the remnants that they were.
Enclave here.
And then I want to switch these three that were MacArthur remnants over to my rapid response divisions. Thanksgiving. Americans enjoyed the return of the 4th of July so much that the president is thinking about restoring more holidays. One of his favorite Enclave traditions is Thanksgiving, where we carve the roasted death claw and eat sweet potato pie. We could revive this tradition for the entire country and ensure people are thankful for friends and family, for more stability. The Enclave for protecting friends and family, which gives us 5 more legitimacy, or low, low prices from the Crimson Caravan. I kind of like the money, but let's go with some legitimacy. The end of TV Town. Our troops are shifting through the wreckage of what we've come to know as TV Town, is a strange simulation of idyllic pre-war town stuck in what appears to be a loop of a TV show. There were a few escape attempts over the centuries, but the town director, a ZAX computer at the town's core, maintained order. Mysteriously, we have no idea who did this. There are no corporate marketing, no Vault-Tec property, not even anything from the pre-war U.S. Army. Whatever or whoever did it, complete outside the scope of our knowledge. Many of the androids, as we've realized they were, are being scrapped for parts, but their circuits are too fragile and weak for us to reverse engineer them at this time. How did they end up here? We'll launch an investigation. TV Town State is now a core of the Enclave. And what remains of TV Town, picking through the remains of what was TV Town, it's clear whatever or whoever set this place up had technology well in advance of our own. If this was a pre-war thing or a post-war thing, we don't really know. However, some of our researchers think that something might come of this, given the raw power of those androids we faced. Other more pragmatic members of the government, however, are keen to see the area turned over for a settlement and have it given over to the production. Given the advanced technology in the hidden city would greatly benefit our cause. Let's just set up a research station. We could get some more population and confiscate the technology, but I'll set up a research station. Let's see. We're restoring 2 Air Force bases and the Hawthorne Army Depot. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. do the common man, the forgotten men and women of the NCR, but let's see. Start doing Area 51. Yeah, let's do Area 51. The Ironmongers are at war with Santa Ana. 1344. Buy some of that common. I do want to give my power armor groups the last shell. There's the remnants of Attis's, or the Ironmongers falling. We're going to give these guys fire teams. As some more soft attack, more hard attack, more anti-air, more defense, more breakthrough. Hurts the armor a little bit, but save that. We should have plenty. Yep, there goes the Ironmongers. Let's see, let's train some of these light robot units up. Do up to 7. The Hawthorne Army Depot. Pre-war Hawthorne Army Depot prided itself as the largest depot in the world, twice the size of the Sierra Army Depot. Hawthorne held everything from weapons, ammo, trucks, and everything in between. Sadly, operations in Alaska and trying to drain many of its stocks in the passage of time hasn't helped. While getting the base up and running, we managed to find a few old stocks of rifles and machine guns, but one of our techs discovered something better. Schematics for 105mm artillery pieces, along with training manuals and range tables. While previously our highly mobile Virtus assault teams had no need for artillery, if we're going to take back America the hard way, we're going to need artillery support. Sadly, it appears that what few guns were here were stolen, with tracks leading off southeast towards Vegas. Adds technology, artillery support batteries, and the Nemesis ADS. Reduces supply consumption and gives us 800 units of common weaponry and 400 units of light machine guns. So who took the guns? Defending America's most secret base. Pre-war Air Force Base that served the Greater Nevada test site, the fighter counterpart to Nellis Air Force Base bombs. Creech served as the little-known younger sister to the more famous base. Although it was just as important, given the obscurity of the base and the focus of Area 51, the base was left unscathed. As far as Great War damage, the intervening 200 years, however, did little to stop its decay to the elements, from the occasional NCR expedition to roving bands of raiders to the Great Mojave War. Back in our hands, the base is shaping up to be crucial in both our push into Utah as well as to stop whatever the heck Kaiser can throw at us when our armies meet. T. Kettle Junction will be renamed as Creech Air Force Base, improved air mission efficiency, and ace generations. And expanding at Tonopah. Pre-war Tonopah was part of the larger Nevada test site and has been largely dormant save for the Guardians, who ransacked the base for anything they could find. Thankfully, the automated defenses held out, and much of the base remains intact, allowing the Air Force to quickly restore it to working order. With its airfield operational once more, already operations towards Area 51 and other and over California are being planned. The NCR Air Force grew in strength. We will need Tonopah Air Force Base now more than ever. The NCR won't see it coming. Improved air mission efficiency and ace generation. Perfect. They took the Tohono Nation.
This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
Trying to think if I should try to. Can't anyway, so it doesn't matter. The clash of steel. In the face of overwhelming pressure, the fragile ceasefire between the new California Republic and the long beleaguered Western Brotherhood of Steel has collapsed. For the second time in recent history, laser fire illuminates Maxon as the NCR and Brotherhood mobilize for a resumption of full-scale warfare. President Aaron Kimball has made a speech proclaiming that the Brotherhood terrorists will be crushed, while the Western Brotherhood is expected to activate underground partisan networks and call in support from many Brotherhood chapters scattered throughout the wasteland. As fighting in Southern California quickly grew to an intensity that exceeded even that of the bloody guerrilla campaign waged by the Brotherhood throughout the 2060s, one thing is clear: this will be the final war between Lost Hills and Shady Sands. And just come to this. I wish I hadn't have done that on the last episode, but it's okay. Let's see. Standardized tools, public projects. Our operational security compromise. So let's, for 90 days, cease aggressive tactics. That gives us a negative 50% division attack for 90 days. We won't have this for another 200 days, so that's a fine. Another Legion monster. A series of grainy photos from Trader in Arizona was published yesterday, giving rise to hysteria about the latest developments out of Arizona. Reports indicate that the Legion has managed to wrangle a mutated pre-war monster called an elephant. Analysts have determined the beast to be 20 feet tall and able to smash a man in power armor with its trunks. Many have begun to nickname the monster as Hannibal and believe that Khazar is breeding the monster to let loose in California to kill as many as possible ahead of his advancing army. Leaders are asking for citizens to remain calm, saying that the combined might of the Army and Air Force will keep them safe despite mounting evidence of a new and terrifying Legion. Alright, this is just getting stupid. So now they have elephants. They also have anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 in the Air Force. They have one. We have like 50. Yeah. Not looking good. Restoring Dreamland. Hidden away deep into Nevada lays one of America's most secretive bases, the nexus of conspiracy theories, pseudoscience, and whatever else the communists could cook up in pre-war. Even much of the Enclave wasn't privy to what went on at the base, with only the President and the Joint Chief of Staffs aware of what all went down on there. Sadly, their knowledge went down at the rig. Now we've left to pick up the remains and investigate the base like some NCR expedition. Post-war, the base's remote location and secretive nature left it undisturbed beside the tribal raiders that are descendants of the pre-war garrison who seem to worship their ancestors as gods. Now that we're back in control, it seems it's time we investigate the base and recover its secrets and the secrets of the Greater Nevada test site. Of course, we can only do one thing at a time. Let's open the hangars. Opening the hangars, there were rumors and whispers among the troops over what exactly would be in those hangars. What we would find. A few shifted uneasily in their power armor as the engineers cracked open the old rusted doors. Even a few officers stood uneasy as they cracked open before their worried eyes was, dun dun dun, a flight of pre-war nuclear fighters. Bent anticlimactic, this repeated itself as engineers opened each door to the base, resulting in the pre-war fighters that had been sheltered for the better part of centuries laying there, ready to be refurbished and restored like so much else. Area 51 was the center of our advanced aircraft program. Of course, the surface hangars held actual aircrafts. We could return the plane to service or scrap them for production boost to our fighters with the spare parts. Scrap them or get 50 units of American nuclear fighter jets. Let's get those fighter jets. We can do a man from Cedar. It's only 10 days. That gets a better spy agency. Or helps with our spy agency. Thinking about puppeting one of these factions. Maybe New Cannon. not new canon. The man from Cedar. Enclave intelligence. Where do we begin? It is their failure to predict a tribal from Oregon would blow up the rig. Their secretive ways that aren't subject to oversight. The removal of officers or politicians that they deemed a threat. Or maybe it's the fact that they were one of the few Enclave organizations that nepotism didn't exactly pan out, thus creating the stigma they now deserve. Regardless, Millie thought Enclave intelligence died with the rig, as their officers and operatives hadn't been seen in over 30 years. However, this was until Colonel Callahan arrived at Sierra Depot holding the correct credentials and speaking about plans to reinvigorate the greatest intelligence apparatus in the post-war era. His charisma must be maxed out because a lot of people are listening. Sure, but what's a Cedar? The city in Iowa. Colonel Callahan becomes an advisor, or we add Enclave intelligence, which grants civilian intelligence plus 2%, Army intelligence plus 1%, Navy intelligence plus 1%, and air intelligence plus 1%. I pretty much got everybody as advisors that I want. I'm guessing he'd come in here. But that doesn't really give... Yeah, great Enclave intelligence. Cold Feet, which adds 2 spies. Legacy of the DIA. This intelligence colonel avoided destruction in the rig by leading an expedition to the ruins of Fort Hayachuca. He says he's chasing reports of a joint project between the old Defense Intelligence Agency and the Defense Advanced Research and Projects Agency. Furthermore, he says what he's chasing is here in Nevada. We looked over the documents and there's something to them. Legacy of the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. Estados Unidos Mexicanos declared war on El Ejército Mexicano. Not the Sorrows.
Enclave here.
There's some robots. Three Rivers declared war on the Kingdom of Manitoba.
This is Enclave main comm.
Let me switch you guys over. And I actually want to go in here. Light robots. Change you guys down to armored battalions. And then give you CNC if we have enough. We don't. Well, we'll give it to you anyway because we should be producing CNC. The Arbor Junta declared war on the Republic of Three Rivers. The Tar Walkers versus the White Legs. Realm of Diana. There's no one really that I want to puppet. Legacy of the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, is who I should have chose as my agency. Pre-war, the Defense Intelligence Agency became the premier in the U.S. security operations. From predicting the moves of the Chinese to establishing safe houses for our operatives for after the war, the DIA even accurately predicted the Great War, allowing the progenitors of the Enclave to retreat to safety to continue the American dream. Now, however, its legacy is in shambles, picked apart by vultures who do not know what they're standing on. For such examples, here in Nevada, and Colonel Callahan is staking his entire life that what rests underneath Red Mountain is more than worth it for the president and America. So long as it prevents another rig, which counterintelligence and intelligence gain. Well, if it means killing mutants. So long as it prevents another rig. To Red Mountain, what lies beneath. Now I'm curious because I'm like, oh, what lies beneath Red Mountain? Bring Gecko as a chord state.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm.
The lost remnants returns. Our garrison at Area 51 has reported that a flight of vertibirds have arrived at the base bearing Enclave markings. After some initial confusion and shouting, we identified them as General Adams of the lost Area 51 expedition. We thought them lost to the mysteries of Area 51, but no, turns out they were unprepared to deal with the massive raider tribe we had to deal with to secure the base. Upon seeing our capture of the base, he wasn't sure if we were Enclave or not. Upon confirming we were, he has since revealed himself and ready to join our ranks. Given he's a commissioned officer, we can't deny him. Plus, he's bringing the remains of his expedition with him. The man is a bit of a legend of his own right, and a few requests from our own personnel have come up asking to be transferred to his command. Wow, you are really tall. Jackson Adams becomes the unit leader. Perfect. Lost Hills about gone. Now the 80s have went to war versus Eastport. Yeah, the culture of the death run. A new spy. Heavyweight, 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 and barter. Him. Send out some vehicles. Alright, Red Mountain. What lies beneath? The Rangers had no idea what they were sitting on, the massive fortified bunker and the wonders that were within. In their ignorance and with the help from the sands of time, the facility had fallen into disrepair. However, the readings of power from the low levels mean something is still operating down there, and Colonel Callahan is more than sure, or more sure than ever, that what lies below is exactly what he's been looking for. Get to digging. Extraction can begin. And the Cochise AI. Gloria Falls. Let's see. Okay, so that's not something I need to actually do in the decisions tabs. Granite and Bishop at Golgotha. Today, Mr. Bishop has taken his pupil Granite to the infamous Golgotha just outside New Reno. Granite noticed that Bishop's expression was more serious than usual today. As Clausewitz said, war is a continuation of politics by other means. Sometimes there are people you cannot bring to your side or be convinced to stand down. In that case, war is the only option, Bishop stated without a hint of emotion. Mr. Bishop walked over to a small mound. This here is Maria Lopez. She was a follower of the apocalypse. She ran a clinic where she offered medical treatments free of charge, but she also tried to bring me down, calling me a tyrant. I guess she was correct in the end, even if she failed. Granite felt disgusted. You murdered an innocent woman? Yes, I do not deny that, Bishop replied emotionlessly. My point is you'll have many opponents, devils, saints, and all in between, and if they do not stand down, they must be destroyed. No exceptions. How many purists did your goons put down? I know their graves are over there. We can count. Granite was no stranger to taking lives. After all, he was a mercenary commander. He had given orders that resulted in the death of enemies and sometimes his own troops, but to take the lives of an innocent civilian, even if they oppose you, Granite hoped he would never have to do something this drastic. Politics have no relation to morals. Political power plus 200. The deal with the devil. Volupia stood on the banks of the Rio Grande, his mask hiding his true feelings as he stepped onto the boat. Rumors from the west spoke of a dying eagle that sank its talons into the bear, and to the south one of the gods of Mexico stormed forth to avenge his father, screaming a bloody vengeance. As the ghoul silently rowed Volupus' boat across the river, he thought of great Kazar's words. Kazar predicted that a computer could never surpass a man, and so the real threat lay to the west, and the god servant spoke of trade and a treaty of promise of assistance should the United States Army ever march. But as Volupus looked at the battalion of assaultrons scanning without moment, he wondered if Kazar was right. Ave, Ejército Mexicano enacts a non-aggression pact with Kazar's Legion. Armageddon Station. Armageddon Station had been abandoned since the Great War, fallen into disuse, but the patrol of both Gloria and Armageddon Station, Santa Ana can gain now seize upon the facilities. Old systems quiet since the Great War flicker on, the flickering lights of a protracted and sinister science, and may God have mercy on us all. Santa Ana gets a nuke. And then Sick Transit Gloria. All of the heroes of Gloria have died. Now Santa Ana bestrides the Rio Grande once more, and he begins to march against the Aztecs. Vertibird crashed in Legion territory. President Granite appears that one of our vertibirds engaged in peaceful reconnaissance over Legion territory crashed. Sadly, our efforts to maintain technology that was designed before a global atomic war 2 centuries ago, although impressive, is not perfect. Kazar's men are ransacking the crash site, and although they probably cannot build vertibirds, it may give them insights to rebuilding their own air force. At least the Brotherhood didn't get to plans. Kazar's Legion gets 2x 50% research bonus for air equipment. Ouch. Our bros declared war on Eagle Rock. And there's the capture of the Lost Hills bunkers, if you guys would like to open that. Get the monoplane fighter. There goes Lost Hills. Should have waited. So now where we have one more day on the negative 50%. We can hide from the NCR if we spend 560. And we get 150 days, so we're going to do that. Waste a lot of political power, but that's okay.
Enclave here.
You gentlemen falls under him.
Enclave here.
Daniel Carter, he's a pretty good general. Let's see. How many more do I need? 6. So we get 6, even though we're needing a lot more of the vertibirds and power armor, which is fine. We can do... I don't want to do spec ops because they're technically light special forces, so need 11 more of these. And can do 18 more of these. Alright, perfect. Of course, that does mean we're probably using some of the worst infantry equipment possible. A lot of pipe guns. We have quite a bit of the 10mm pistols left, which are better than the pipe guns. We have an Aslan. Let me buy some of these common ballistic missiles off of you. Buy some of those laser muskets. To hopefully turn around and sell them back. Air Doctrine. The Cochise AI, just before the outset of the Great War, the DIA created a predictive analytic machine, or a sophisticated AI that was the pinnacle of analysis AI. However, PAM was lost in Boston, and it was going to be a while before we get back. Colonel Callahan, however, has been chasing his predecessor, the poorly named Mass Analytic Terminal. While it's not an AI, the basis of the design went on to inspire the ZAX computer, and PAM, which is what led to the device to be mothballed. The machine can perform hundreds of calculations a second, from battlefield data to encrypted radio broadcast. Now it's back in the hands of the rightful American government, and it's ready to once again defend America. With this, we hold the future of America in our hands, adds the Mass Analytics Terminal, which grants us civilian, Army, Navy, and Air Intelligence plus 5%, Counterintelligence plus 0.05, Intel Strength Gain plus 0.01, or I'm sorry, plus 0.1, Intel Strength Gain Factor plus 10%, Decryption for Civilian Cipher Bonus plus 24, Army Cipher Bonus plus 24, Decrypted Navy Cipher Bonus plus 25, and the Air Force Cipher Bonus plus 24. So it was a really, really good spy thing. Do Area 23. Let's do investigating the labs. Power up all the power grids.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm.
How many more days do we have on that? What, 60? About 60? Okay. I'm curious with that Coca-Cola one, or not Coca-Cola, my apologies, Nuka-Cola Corps. It says it needs 5 civilian factories, needs more available 5 civilian than 5. So does, I'd hate to like delete all these, but I wondered if that's what that means. And this is air defense, 105mm. Combined arms. Plundering Eastport. It's a 60-day focus. The echoes of a utopia lost. Our researchers have been piecing together memory banks and studying the machines. It seems they weren't evil, just horrifically ignorant of the outside lands. Coupled with the fact they were talking war machines with strengths of a soldier and power armor and laser eyes, they would likely never understand humanity or the wasteland. One of our scientists even got one of the things back online. Well, just its head, and he removed the thing's laser's eyes. It claims its name is 40011. The test shows it has heightened self-awareness. She expressed that she doesn't want to die or see her town left to the dustbin of history. The issue is she claims humans are too fragile to survive in the wasteland, the fact we destroyed her town notwithstanding. And so far, some of our researchers claim we should continue the scrapping of the town and reap the rewards. Others say with the same basic programming and modifications to the android chassis, they can live alongside us, which is pushing it. Well, there will be some modifications. Come on down to TV Town. Well, okay, not really. For the most part, reconstruction at TV Town has been slow. Much of the holdup is threefold: repairing the damaged or destroyed android chassis, tearing out the servos, weapons, and anything that makes these things a threat to mankind, and lastly, regrouping them with a basic understanding, or reprogramming them with a basic understanding of wasteland culture and having them not accidentally kill a caravan group by locking them in a jail for 3 months. At most, progress has been slow, but progress is progress. A few of the refurbished androids are obviously not human, but at this point we stopped giving a dang. Of course, not everything is going smoothly. Some of the more advanced models have been put to work in factories producing things 24/7, reducing our consumer good cost. A few settlers even moved into the town, plenty being robot enthusiasts and some more weird types. Yeah, I'm not even going there. Add TV Town Reborn, which grants consumer goods negative 6%. I don't think anybody wants to go there. Start investigating the labs. Take over the 80s. I don't know if there's any bases or anything worth anything over here in the 80s, but it takes one more of Khazar's friend away because they're not a part of the Legion yet. Other bros fighting Eagle Rock. This is still stalemate. The fail of Kochikaloko. I butchered that. Contact lost with our some of the rescue team. Power all those up. And we found the expedition. Some power armor. We need some more vertebrates, some more support robots. Almost done with the servo mox. The fall of Aslan, so Heros Mexicano takes that town. Not nearly as many as that. Binary code. It appears that Santa Ana Down has acquired blueprints for an advanced humanoid robot that we've only seen once. It was when the calculator attempted to cleanse the continents under orders of Richardson Sr. Either way, since retaking Armageddon Station, we've heard reports of these robots appearing to quell any resistance to the Mexican digital dictator, and he expected to make more use of them as time grows. We've also received this message: Taylor might have thrown me over the Rio Grande, but he's not here, and with the very weapon you created, I'll avenge my father and avenge all of Mexico for what you Yankees have done. The U.S. shall be the U.S. should be but a memory I will stamp out. This is a promise. They get the C-27 humanoid robot. Ominous. Scary. Not really. Nah. I'll kick their butts anyway. Can't probably get none of that. I'll buy some of these salvage trucks if I can. Vault City University School of Law. The first class of Vault City is graduating, and this includes the first crop of lawyers to be professionally trained since the bombs fell. Although some are already filing lawsuits on behalf of caravan companies, manipulating the bottle cap future markets, and having couriers deliver cease and desist orders to rival gun runners. There is an upside. Some of these students want to join the United States government, while others are representing the neediest citizens in court. Given the Enclave's origin in the pre-war law firms, it's kind of touching. Maybe the reform path was a mistake. Lose 5% stability and gain 250 political power. Maybe. Time will tell. Investigating the labs. Deep below the base sat the center of some of the most advanced and top secret research ever conducted on the planet. This is what was hidden away to only the eyes of the President and the Joint Chiefs. That required the highest clearance in the land to even talk about. Bio-research into the blue flu, the deadliest of the pre-war diseases, plasma weapons that are seemingly not of this world, and of course the secret we've been holding on to since Roswell, an actual alien body. Kept in stasis for 3 centuries now, the body lay at the center of a series of cloning and biological tests, some of which we sent to West Virginia. While the body remains in stasis, the data, of course, has been corrupted, and it's going to be a matter of time before we recover this. What more, the blue flu was dangerously close to being accidentally released upon the world once again, which would have torn its way across the wasteland with no way to stop it short of an FEV mutation. Good thing we arrived when we did. So that's what aliens look like, weird teeth. This will become more useful in the future. For now, it does nothing. But yeah, good thing we did it. Let's do... the elephant in the room, or in space, rather. Not an actual elephant. Not like the NCR-Legion has. Building up these vertibirds. Producing some commercial protectrons. Research. We're about done with some of these. Big grass take the... Big grass is the Chinese... Yeah. AI. Okay. Diplomacy distance. We'll do the guy that has historical firearms. We'll use that research slot to get better robots. We have 81 more days. And how many more days do we have? 5, so about 11. I might let them complete this so they get in as a core and then smoke them. Don't think there's any of these territories that I would like to make into puppets. Gnome tribes, New Hammond.
Enclave here.
The elephant in the room. What we've known for centuries at this point is we are not alone. Ever since the crash at Roswell in 1947, we've been aware. We've designated them Zatians for reasons we've since forgotten. We know they've been watching us, studying us, abducting us. They are not friendly. They do not come in peace, and they do not want to negotiate. They even took a sitting U.S. senator, and we found his dissected corpse floating in the Potomac just before the Great War. Sadly, most of our knowledge on them went down with the rig, and Callahan and the rest of the Enclave intelligence is trying to piece together what they can. If something happens, we must be ready, and it's not like we can send nuclear missiles at their homeland. There are rumors of something found out in New Mexico years ago, brought here, but for the time being, we can only sit and wait. That's not very comforting. Not at all. Let's do Area 27.
Enclave here.
More robots. You already got robotics expert. Maybe inspirational. You can take inspirational and mysterious stranger. They should be done with that by now. Yep. Sierra Enclave declares war. Steel bears on the prowl. With the capture of Lost Hills, the NCR has raided the former Brotherhood bunker for any and all power armor, with today showing the results of the deadly war. While the NCR Army has prided itself on being a light mobile infantry force, several battalions marched through shady sands today wearing refurbished suits of NCR power armor for all to see. President Aaron Kimball expressed their eagerness to see these units deployed to hot zones across the NCR. When our good citizens look to their soldiers, they see hope. They see security, they see civilization. The NCR will be that civilization, and we won't let anyone stop us. The president spoke of units being sent to the Nevada frontier, where the rumors of a resurgent enclave have alarmed locals, though NCR officials say that they are just ghosts and should not be concerned. Are all their units bear puns, adds technology scavenge power armor, and they get stripped power armor as well. Yes, for their information, almost all of their units are bear puns.
Excellent!
My power armor's ripping through them, but my rest of my units are not. Nueva Aslan has been annexed by Santa Ana. The monoplane fighters. Nice little encirclement there. Not huge, but it's useful. Spies compromised. Let's extract them with a vertibird, then immediately send them right back in. Send out the spies. Up here to the north. We're good right now. We can sue a new citizens care package, but I'm going to wait until we take all of the 80s. Then we might do it. Area 27. What are those? Oh, Khazar's Legion chariots. Jasper's lab. Jasper was a brilliant experiment using a two-stage high-energy shotgun to achieve shock pressures, temperatures, and strain rates similar to those attained in nuclear weapons. The tests continued well into the 2060s before being shut down to allocate funding to the war effort. It was these tests that allowed Vault-Tec to create the vaults and to ensure the rig was capable of surviving a nuclear explosion. These tests ensured America's survival, something that our scientists and engineers probably didn't think about. However, our scientists and engineers have noted that the last series of tests used mass driver technology, which they think they can miniaturize, given enough time, allowing us to hopefully in the future recreate our Las Gauss rifles. Cool. Do Area 22.
Enclave main com.
So the chariots, 900 heart attack. So my infantry can pretty much smoke the chariots. My power armor cannot.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here.
get to them.
Outstanding. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com.
Yeah, their chariots just absolutely destroy my power.
What was that? Enclave here. Enclave here.
Free fight with the infantry. Khazar's Legion declared war on the NCR. The Bear and the Bull war has reached us that a full-scale war has broken out between the New California Republic and Khazar's Legion. Regardless of our personal feelings to the two nations, we must carefully consider our options. Should one nation conquer the other, the resulting superpower may threaten our very existence. Our covert operatives believe they can bring the war to a standstill by the means of sabotaging supply lines. Like decisions to sabotage supply lines of the winning nation to force a peace. Right on. So his chariots are gone. After he very rudely destroyed my power armor. So I'd say we'll watch the NCR just get rippled. Our scavengers return triumphant. We got the radar. Build that gives us some more power. Power up. This war's probably cost me quite a bit. What, about 2,000?
This is Enclave main com.
Camp Desert Rock. During the ancient Cold War and the growing resources war, the U.S. military knew it was going to be operating in a nuclear scattered battlefield. How right they were. The tactics developed here were instrumental in allowing our forces to initially dominate the wastelands when we first arrived back on the mainland. However, the test didn't account for our lack of numbers, which is what led to the fall of Nevero after the rig went down. Today, however, the site is being repurposed to serve a new group of soldiers and to better prepare ourselves for continued combat in a post-nuclear environment. 200 years of natural development as well as ensured the fact. Increased army organization factor by 7%. Just keep an eye out for the Wanamingos. That sounds horrifying. Do schooner. So for that focus, or that decision, I guess it's up top, ain't it? No. Oh, right here. Yeah. Executive orders. They have to have more than 10. NCR or Khazar have to have more than 10% surrender progress for us to do that. And then it just white pieces them both. They seem to have broken out.
Enclave main com.
Let's see.
This is Enclave main com.
Form all of you into a general under Adams.
Enclave here.
Put you 4, fill up his unit. Your group move here. So now they have
Enclave main com.
now they have the Thunderbirds.
Enclave main com. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave main com.
Get all of those.
Enclave here.
This war has been really not great for us. It's not been bad, but it's just not
Enclave
how
here.
I've wanted it to go.
This is Enclave main com.
Lost 2,000, they lost 7,000. Economic resurgence. Area 15. Schooner Hotel was started as an EPA test site for milk contamination following on from Operation Schooner, soon expanded in the late 2060s following the realization that nuclear war could be a thing. Called the Schooner Hotel to keep prying communist eyes away. The test site housed numerous animals, plants, and food stocks to test their reaction to radiation. The data retrieved would provide invaluable to anyone trying to survive in a post-nuclear environment. Perhaps it was the names that kept bodies like the Brotherhood or the followers of the apocalypse from researching the site. Schooner Hotel didn't exactly invite the idea of food research. Increased monthly population by 2%. So we do Area 23. Secure the big MT.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here.
Chop shop wants lower. Not really buying vehicles right now, especially since we're fighting the liberal vehicle group. We'll just take all of these guys' vehicles. Costa Cafina. The Three Rivers declared war on Vault 37.
This is Enclave main com.
We need to include one more of these guys. And 30 more is fine. If Kaiser's Legion can pretty much push me back without me even blinking and destroy my power armor, that's pretty much all we got going for us right now anyway. Combined arms. Let's finish out with Champions of Virtue. Let's do Powder activities again. I'm not going to waste my political power this time. There goes Gold Hill. So Jericho is where we need to aim. Radio detection. Radio. Dwarves ray gun, huh? Alright, the far sun. Alright, so yeah. I need to justify. Use the 80s. Take everything. Liberating the 80s. Our selflessness in vanquishing the 80s had made us become seen as saviors of the people among the wastes. The 80s were scourge of Utah for countless years now, thanks to our efforts there, but a memory. Some felt that we were simply going to usurp the reign of power they held by abstaining and giving power back to the subjugated people. We have instead shown our resolves in standing by the needs of the wasteland. We get Liberation of the 80s, which grants us weekly manpower plus 25, monthly population plus 25%, division recovery rate plus 20%, weekly stability plus 0.50%, factory output plus 30% for a year. We're justifying on these guys. We'll justify on these guys. And we'll justify on those guys. Perfect.
This is Enclave main comm.
Now,
This is Enclave main comm.
you guys.
Enclave here.
You guys. You here.
Enclave here.
And the rest of you on the Thunderbirds. Scavenge with vehicles. We did just get a bunch of vehicles. Let me see. We need 97 vertebrates, which is fine. We got a bunch of implants, which we don't need. Need a bunch more power armor. Got some of their chariots. I'm not looking for. Oh yeah, motorized vehicles, motorcycles, a lot of bicycles, salvage motorcycles, salvage cars. Okay, not bad. We'll actually probably switch all of you to the highest motorization policy. East Coast Exiles. To our astonishment, a group of unrecognized vertebrates have approached our location with a legitimate Enclave call sign. They are led by a lieutenant named Schultz, sporting Enclave power armor. Schultz traveled from Raven Rock facility in the capital wasteland, leading an averted assault team dispatched by Colonel Autumn to salvage assets from the ashes at Navarro and the rig. The mission was a suicide errand assigned by Autumn to purge opposition from his ranks. Those who survived found us, not ruins. But news of illegitimate President Eden is troubling. Most of the Enclave vertebrates went south with Autumn's father, and Schultz's tactical experience could be invaluable by integrating air power with the Enclave ground forces. A surprise, but a welcome one. Gets event that's not all who arrive, plus 500 manpower. We get 50 more gunships. Schultz now can be available as chief of the Air Force and 50 transports. And that's not all who arrived. Stepping off the last vertebrate, Schultz was quick to inform everyone that the commander of the operation was none other than George Harrison. No one had the slightest idea who that was. Some didn't even know what that was. Fortunately, some of the older members of the Enclave mentioned that it was the civilian leader of all military assets of the United States military, answering only to the president himself. Harrison introduced himself to Granite, who was more than happy to receive the Secretary of Defense. After some introduction, Harrison described a falling out with the East Coast Enclave, and he was sent west to give the expedition some authority. He knew, however, it was the same as the rest, a way to get rid of him. Suffice to say, he's glad his expedition wasn't in vain. Well, didn't know they were carrying a VIP. Welcome aboard. George Harrison becomes available as the Secretary of Defense. SecDev. Is that in here? No. Is that down here? No. Maybe it's up here. Yeah, right there. Army, Naval, and Air experience. Okay, so not horrible. Loyal soldier. And Schultz is a genius close air support, which gives us air support. Oh. I don't know if that's really that great. I purposely don't think so, but... Waiting on this one power armor division, which will take a while. We've got plenty of troops. Actually, I need 26. I will cast my shoe over what? Standing Rock, declared war. The Troll War and declared war on the Apostles.
This is Enclave main comm.
Let's More robots. Yeah, we should be able to wipe New Cannon off the face of the earth. Then we'll be close enough to Farson. Which could pay off. Man, that's a lot of political power to waste. The shortened airframe and small wings, our fighters can make carrier launchable. Oh, no. That said fleet defense. Escort to power and eventuality of our infrastructure being damaged, as well as giving the possibility so it just gives them more range. Yeah. More range and agility, better strategic bombing. We can do better strategic bombing. The attackers. We need more everything. Keep going. Expedition to the Big Empty. Before the war, one of the greatest centers of R&D was the Big Empty, long thought to be destroyed. Whispers of an eerie light in the nights at the center of the site inspired an expedition. To our surprise, we found a realm of wonders and terrors, cybernetic enhancements, holographic technology, and new ceramics, but also shambling corpses, robotic scorpions, and even malevolent fauna. As the vertebrates descended, its gunners putting down a series of strange individuals in hospital garbs and shooting at us. The president must decide what to do with the facility. Be careful, we don't know what forbidden technology we'll find. At production of advanced components and energy, and gets the event the think tank. To our surprise, pre-war scientists have survived in the think tank and adapting robotic bodies. Time has not been kind, and they are clearly insane in the mainframe. While most dream of leaving an experiment in the wastelands, the one called Mobius has warned us that this will end only in tears. A few suggest that it must be worth supporting their research. Persuade them to stay in the Big MT. Do not let those monstrosities out into the wasteland, please. I'm begging you. So, we're about done with the Area 51 part. Let's see. Do I waste 860? No. Enclave is about to take Shady Sands. Current wars. There it is. We're only at 5% anyway. Lost patrols going to war. Let's get cease construction efforts right now. That takes us down to, it's down here. For 90 days, we get negative 75% construction speed. Which drops us down to negative 40%, which is still really bad, but gives us an extra 90 days. On top of that, once it recycles all the way, gives us 150 days if I use my political power then. Because we need to wait, what, another 100 days for that. We'll get the Big MT. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more for the Area 51. And then I'm going to do the accept ghouls, accept super mutants, human rights. It's an additional 100 days. A lot to do, not a lot of time.
Enclave here. This is Enclave main com.
I would have to guess. If I look good down here. Shady Sands is still alive. But they're under threat. I want to see really quick. We have the most world tension generation. They've lost 21,000. They've lost 10,000. But they're able to. I mean, man, Exiles Legion is so strong. storing the big MT. There's the police protectrons. We'll get the iBots. Let's do area 23. Power all the power grids. Just gaining them core territories. And we got something out of date. Let me see where that's at. Police robots. I do want to go into my auxiliaries. We're going to give you guys dogs and anti-air. If I have enough of both. I do. Congratulations, everybody. And while we're all waiting, everybody start training. Alright, well, with that, I'm going to end the episode. I hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.